Welcome to episode 20 of season 6 of the Foyne Jones Show. Today, I'm going to be inspiring our stars of the future with the wonderful Ian Penney. Check out this episode, you won't be disappointed. And here we are. It's been an emotional journey. We are about to start episode 20 of season 6 of the Foyne Jones Show. Can I believe my podcast has lasted 6 seasons? No. But with this man, producer Charlie, we've had it off over the last couple of seasons. In episode 20, I'm looking forward to this one. We've got an amazing guest in the studio, Ian Penney. Welcome to Brighton, welcome to Plus X, and welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you, and thanks a lot for having me. It's great to be here.
Ian, it's great to have you on your show, and actually, as well as having great guests like yourself, this season has been about giving advice, giving inspiration to our industry stars of the future. So we're going to do that today, Mr. Penney, by getting to know you.
Okay.
All right, we're going to get to know you inside work and we're going to get to know you outside work, all right? We share I don't know if I love it anymore, but we share a passion for running. Yeah. My body doesn't move as quick as it used to, but I'm still shifting it up and down the coast, and I know you're running as well, and you're doing some running for some great causes as well. So we're going to talk about some charity, we're going to talk about you away from work, we're going to talk about you in work and your career journey as well, because that's how we can inspire the next generation. Charlie, you up for this one?
Mate, I'm buzzing. I can't believe we've done 20 of these. It's been an absolute corker of a season.
No one can believe we've done 20 episodes of season 6. We're already starting to plan for season 7. That's going to be a completely different angle with some amazing options and how we could push that on. But Ian, Take a few moments, mate, just to talk to the listeners, talk to our connections, and just tell them what you're up to at the moment, what you're doing, who you're doing it for. Let's get to know you a little bit, Mr. Penney.
Yeah, no problem at all. So, I'm currently the CEO for Direct Online Services, and I joined them in September of last year. An interesting time to join such a business, obviously predominantly an online business, and after 2 years of COVID, definitely been a reset period. I think a lot of people have seen that though in the pure play area. But fantastically enjoyable. About 250 employees, and we own that end-to-end experience. So all the way from order all the way to delivery with our customers. So we've got our own trucks, own drivers, 2-man dedicated service. So yeah, it's a very, very varied role. And as you know, from my background, I've been at B&Q and Kingfisher previously. It's a real difference, but I'm absolutely loving it.
Fantastic. And you are right about the industry, the KBB industry. We're in an interesting passage of play, aren't we? We're seeing different results being announced. There's caution, there's hesitancy, and there are pockets of real positivity as well. Mm-hmm. So arriving into the CEO position, that always fascinates me, because so many people will look at it and go, well, what did they actually do? So I'm gonna play devil's advocate, Mr. Penney, and I'm going to say, talk us through, a day in the life or a week in the life of what that feels like, because already 250 strong head count, an end-to-end supply process from design to all the way through. So let's just talk about that. Arriving in that role, that must have been exciting.
Yeah, well, yeah, exciting and terrifying in equal measures. So I think. I approached the role, firstly, I had significant imposter syndrome. So, when you start as a CEO, the first thing you do is you question it. And I read a lot of books, actually. So the new CEO, a lot of publications, just to make sure I got my head around it. Because as I said, you don't go into it with a big ego thinking that I'm going to nail this. You go into it thinking, how many times am I going to make mistakes and how quickly can I recover them? But I think after about a year in the role, and you do, because I remember... one of the things I talked to the team about early is, the higher you go up within a business. And I got given an analogy early in my career, which I'll never forget, which is when you're at the top and you're looking down, all you see is smiling faces, and when you're at the bottom looking up, all you see is arseholes. And it stuck with me, that one. So it's just making sure you keep your feet grounded and don't lose touch. But I think the biggest thing I would suggest about CEO is essentially you're just a professional problem solver. That's the best way I can describe it. There's no more eloquent than that. all you're doing is solving problems, and that's from your electricity suppliers changing and how do you get the best deal to you've had a big safety incident and you need to go and fix it, or you've got this big corporate customer and they want a special deal and how are we going to approach it. So it's very, very little problems and very, very big problems and everything in between. And it's being present really for your team. That's the most.
I think it's absolutely so refreshing, Ian, to hear someone in your position in that chair who's actually saying, being honest, and you're sharing this publicly. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
You was excited because you want this opportunity, but equally it was terrifying. And the word imposter syndrome, we all feel that. I still go into business meetings feeling nervous, feeling anxious, and your adrenaline kicks in, and you kind of like this is. And I liken it back to playing football. If you weren't nervous before a game, you weren't really going to turn up. So I get that, but professional problem solving. That's Matt from Caboodle mentioned something like that during the podcast, Charlie, didn't he? He was talking about, we figure things out. He was, and that's that same way as a leader, is to think about how you can protect your staff, how you can look after them, how you can nurture them, how you can get the best out of them. And I've been lucky enough to get to know a lot of the team, or some of the team anyway. And I think it's a business full of personality.
Yeah.
It really is a business full of personality. And I want to dwell on that, Ian, because through my extensive social media networking, I hang out on LinkedIn and I put the odd post out. I recall some of the team bonding activities you guys were you guys and girls were up to recently, and Chewbacca springs to mind.
Yes.
So you knew I was going to bring Chewbacca up. There's no way you're getting into the studio without Star Wars getting mentioned. So come on, talk us through that sequence of events, which resulted, Charlie, in me posting a picture of Chewbacca on Ian's update, which is, I didn't expect to be doing that when I woke up in the morning, to be honest. You know what I mean? This is a very important client, by the way, and I'm putting Chewbacca up.
How did it come about? Well, like I said, I've always had this culture in every business I've worked, which is just have fun. I'm a big believer in creativity comes from people having fun. Let's not make it too stuffy, too corporate, and let people have that freedom. And I think there was probably a level of trepidation in the team, because I didn't know that was coming, by the way. The brief to the team was we bought our first trucks in 3 years. It's a real monumental moment, because when you've got a truck fleet, you want to keep upgrading them, and they've put off the investment. And with this cycle now, it'd be very easy not to be investing in trucks. But we're putting 25 new trucks out on the road, brand new, energy efficient trucks, so it's better for our footprint. And we're also rebranding the business, because the business, and I could show you the livery, it's gone from a business that was just wooden worktops, so it had, you see the older vans. I saw one on the way down on the A27 actually.
Wave?
Yeah, I smiled. I phoned the ops director and said it's been really well driven, so make sure you give him a pat on the back.
I bet the geezers go.
Exactly. I think they must have sensors in the cabs, but and then so that the brief to them was like, we want to do a new truck, we want it in the new branding. Let's just go and see what we can do. And our head of marketing, Alex Fitzmorgan, he came up with a concept, and he, bless him, on his own back at home made a Corex replica truck.
Wow!
Out of balsa wood and Corex, and then turned up and put magnetic covers on, and then they produced all the livery, including said Star Wars front screen where I was Chewie, and the rest of the team were on there. But I think it's nice because they know, I don't take things too seriously. They can take a bit of mocking and just have a bit of fun with it. And it's really nice to see, because we got in there, we played with it. He made us all model cars out of corgi, and made us drive them round so they see what they look like. And it was just a nice moment, because what could have been a boring marketing sign-off meeting, bring your whole self to it, right, and have fun. And they know that they've got the freedom, the creativity to do that. And that was the only brief. And when I say they met the brief, they smashed the brief.
Do you know what? That takes me back to two things you said there. It takes me back to my days at Travis and Jewson, like the corporate world, as I look back at it. And I've been to some of them uninspiring marketing sign-off meetings up in Northampton or up in Coventry, And I always used to love it when someone brought something different or had some passion. And I used to try and bring as much as I could to it. And I'm saying, well, let's do this, let's do that. How can we do? and it actually would that would inspire me. But smiles inspire, laughter's infectious. Actually, bringing people into the environment there where they feel part of it. And do you know what will happen when they see the branding out there? When you see it there, you feel really connected to it as well. And that's come through. Everyone we've spoken to, we're in our infancy with the relationship, has been so kind of like committed to what they're doing, that the culture's really good. So when you arrived, Ian, was that was improving the culture on the radar, or were you just continuing with what was in play?
Yeah, I didn't know when I arrived, what you see from the outside clearly and what you actually arrive to are two different things. But I think there was an element of just putting the basics in. So the first thing we did is put a 5 and 10 year long service award in. So within the first month that we joined in, everyone got a badge and a little bit of money so they could go and take their loved ones or the family out for a bit of dinner or whatever they want. And then we got everyone together and just had a recognition ceremony. Because, people are giving 5, 10 years of their lives to your business. You should make sure you don't walk past that lightly. So those little things we've done. I'm very lucky to have an incredible HR team. So, and they're really the heartbeat of the business, and I know you interact with them as well. And that's it, because no matter how big or small, that HR team is just so important. In fact, we've just rebranded them now from HR because it's a little bit 80s into the people team. We've got mental health ambassadors. We're really focused on, we may be small in numbers, but we're big in heart.
Yeah.
And that's really important.
That's such a powerful thing to say, though. That's so powerful, and I think that the world of work, any industry, not just industries I recruit for, but you're in this for so long, and you can be it can be unforgiving, it can be relentless, and to actually work for an employer, a boss, a governor, a gaffer that cares, that gives a shit, that actually remembers your children's name, knows that it's a birthday coming up, says actually you did really well there. Wow, I've got a completely example, much more smaller, but Taylor, who works for us, shout out to Taylor, like Australian girl, absolutely infectious personality, grafting for us every day, really making a difference. She's on holiday tomorrow. She's got a couple of weeks off, and one of her closest friends is coming over from Australia. She's landing at Heathrow, whatever, and she's like, blah, blah, blah. I said to her, just go early, just. She said, oh no, I'm going to hang around. I said, just go early, you're in a hotel in London, meet her, have fun. And she's like, really? I went, yeah, these are one-off moments, and work shouldn't get in the way of that. Go and enjoy yourself, go and have fun, and when you come back from your holiday in 2 weeks, carry on doing what you're doing. And I think that's something we are seeing more of now. But there's a balance, because you do need your employees to commit to that as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You need to, and that trust is something that's got to be earned. And when it's in play, it's an amazing place for any business, Ian. So the business now. Worktop Express, direct online services. What's the future look like for you as a CEO and for the business? What are your plans? What can you share? What's the exciting stuff?
So we've got. If I'm honest, what attracted me to the business in the first place was the fact that it's just so customer-centric. And I'm a big believer in this now. Coming from the big likes of Kingfisher, I've worked for Barstool and Homebase, as you know, and a customer that's just so solely focused on their customer is incredible. And that's from the order. So we've got next day, name day service, which is industry best in class. No one delivers worktops to 2-man heavy delivery into a customer's home, next day, name day, on their own trucks. And that's really where the magic comes. But I've just talked on the way down, to Arts Director, because I've still got an itch, because we cut off at midday, and I'm saying, well, how do we push that further? And you can hear his trepidation on the phone, but we'll constantly be pushing those barriers. So how do we make the service even better? We're still trying to crack, how do you get onto first and second floor? Because that's somewhere where at the moment we take safety very seriously. So at the moment our drivers are instructed, do a risk assessment, and it's ground floor only. And that's really just to protect our drivers, because they're our most important employees. We have a very simple mantra in our business, which is you should go home better than you arrived at work in the morning. So that just means from a mental well-being, you're more fulfilled and you're not injured. That's our mantra. We're really clear with it, and every single accident gets fully investigated, and we follow it through, and we measure that consistently. So, and anything, we'd never ask an employee to do anything that we wouldn't do ourselves.
That's powerful.
That's really important, because everyone's got family, brother, sister, husband, wife, son, daughter. you don't want them coming home injured, you know, and that's not fair. So, but next steps for our business, we've got so many exciting plans. So we're Worktop Express on one side, but we've also got our Wex Trade business, which is a trade-specific business serving the kitchen studios market. And that's just growing. So we announced recently we're now Formica's preferred supplier.
Wow.
And we're part of a bigger group, actually, that Formica are
I mean, the more you talk, the more you've got it all going on. So the professional problem solver role is getting like bigger and bigger, isn't it? Because you know it's I mean, you've used words like humble and a small team, big heart, but actually, mate, you're ripping it up in terms of what you're actually what you're looking at in the medium to long term as well.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah, we've got big plans. We're trialling a new kitchen proposition in the back end of this year. That will roll into our studios. Then we have plans to open up further studios as well. But then, as I said, we service the B2C and then a B2B customer. And that B2B, you know, we've got potential to probably put 50,000 worktops additional, so 25% growth in the business in the next 12 months. So, yeah, it is exciting times. And I think, you know, that's the bit where you know, at the moment, you could, depending on which report you read, you can be positive, neutral, negative.
I was scrolling through LinkedIn and my opinion of the economy changed every post I was reading. I'm like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, that's not too bad. Oh, this is exciting. I'm like, do you know what? I'm just going to rock. I'm just going to look at what I can influence, and that's the best way I look at it in terms of what we do. But on that, just to wrap up the first half of the podcast, because I'm conscious we're getting towards that. With the KBB industry itself and with your background and where you are right now as a CEO, what do you see the main challenges that the industry's facing at the moment?
Well, I think the supply chain's been a struggle. So I think, you know, firstly obtaining wood, timber and constant supplies. We know the appliance market's been a challenge. That does seem to be recurring. But I think where now is just customer focus. The learning I got, I was very fortunate to speak to a load of customers. We did over 5,000 customer surveys across Europe about kitchens when I was at Kingfisher. And the resounding thing was it wasn't price, it wasn't quality, it was all about trust. So when someone's buying a KBB project from you, they trust, A, that you're going to give them the best possible deal, so value, not necessarily the cheapest price, but B, you're going to make sure they get an aesthetically pleasing as well as functional kitchen, bathroom or bedroom. You know, and I've seen horror stories in there where I remember being in this Polish lady's kitchen, beautiful, white marble, gorgeous. And I walked in, it was massive, and I said, "You must love this." She said, "No, I hate it." I said, "Why is that?" And she walked over to a dishwasher, she opened it, and she went to get a massive pan out, and she said, "That door there is where I put my pans. So every time I unload my dishwasher, I have to put the pan on the side, shut the dishwasher and put it in." And that's what happens when it goes wrong. And then you get buyer's remorse and the people regret. So where do I think the market is? I think there's still plenty of market out there. I think customers, you're going to have to be completely customer focused and you've got to really gain that trust. That's going to be how you win the KBB market in this next 12 months. So forget about what the market does. It's take share.
Ian, that in itself is the best possible way we could end the first half of this podcast, because if you're customer focused, you know, and you care about your customer and you deliver value, you deliver a service, and I've heard lots of business gurus say this, everything else catches up. You know, if you look after your customer, everything else catches up, and that's a fantastic way to end the first half of the podcast. When we come back after the break, we are going to be talking Southampton Football Club. All right, when the Saints. Shout out to Paul Crowe. We're going to be talking Southampton and the Championship season. Let's deal with it as coming on the back of Fulham's continue up and down, and we've got a bit of stability again. I can talk about the Championship until I can talk about the Championship with real passion and heart. We're going to talk about the work you're doing for Dementia UK, because I know that's something you're very, very passionate about, and you love running and fitness. And after that, we're going to just focus on what this season has been all about, all the way through, giving advice to our next generation and inspiring our stars of the future. That, ladies and gentlemen, is sadly the end of the first half of episode 20. Ian Penney, professional problem solver, CEO, friend of Foyne Jones. You've been a brilliant guest. We're going to get to know you a little bit better after the break.
Life-changing recruitment for the KBB, builders merchant and construction industries. Creative social content, specialist knowledge, world-leading video technology, helping you find career happiness and helping your business attract its stars of the future. We are Foyne Jones. This is what we do.
All right, welcome back. So, in the break, we've been talking about Ian's football career as an aggressive centre-half. Hold your position, drop. So, Ian's been talking about his football career, his competitive nature. So, we're going to spend a bit of time getting to know him away from work, and I've got something very, very special to share a little bit down there. But, Ian, you still playing football?
Yeah, I'm now, just about. It's more walking football than proper football these days. But yeah, still play every Sunday with a bunch of lads.
Fair play to you, mate.
Yeah, I'm middle of the pack, so I'm not the oldest, not the youngest.
There you go, mate. Now, I remember when I first started playing vets, I enjoyed that so much.
Yes.
Like, I could skin everyone. Do you know what I mean? I really. And then all of a sudden you get younger vets, and you're like, oh, no, now I've got to try and play holding midfield in the vets team. You know, but let's talk about your football team. Winchester boy, Southampton, your team?
Yes.
Oh, when the Saints.
Yes.
Strange appointments last season, wasn't it? And I think that ultimately cost you your place at the top table. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely you're right there. So I think it's a typical cycle. I think Saints, like many clubs, they sell a lot of their talent. So you tend to get young players, bring them through, either through the academy or bring them in.
I mean, they all went straight on the bus to Liverpool, didn't they, for a while?
Exactly. Yeah. We basically were the feeder team. And I think people were restless at the end of the beginning of last season with Hasselhoetel and pushed for a change. And you kind of think, was it the club? If you look at it, we let a lot of players go, hadn't really reinvested, didn't have a core striker. Like many clubs at the moment, we were talking about it earlier. If you haven't got a striker up there, the rest of the team can do great, but if you're not banging the goals in, it gets hard. And then, I think Jones, I don't want to get too heavy on the subject, but I think it was a strange appointment from start to finish.
Very, very strange appointment based just looking at track record. That's the starting point for me. Didn't get it.
Yeah,
I didn't get it. And then you look at the team, and what I find so surreal is the money that clubs are offering for Southampton's players. They shouldn't have, if these players are that good and worth that money with the right leadership. You shouldn't have been in that position.
Yeah, agreed.
And you turned it on sometimes. I remember a certain performance against Charlie's team.
We all remember that one. Jesus Christ. Do you know, I was driving to Somerset that evening. I can tell you it was an evening. I remember it all. It was a beautiful, beautiful evening. Sun's in the sky. I was actually driving past Southampton.
Was this to Hula Fest?
It was towards Hula Fest.
Yeah, Hula Fest.
We were doing the prep week. Yeah, you're right. And I was going over there. I had the music on the speaker, but I was like, I could pick it up on the local radio. And I was like, okay, great, right, here we go. So, got it on.
Why did that surprise you that you could pick up a game on the radio? On the wireless, Charlie?
It was a happy surprise. It was only on the local, it wasn't on the national.
Oh, right, okay.
So it was a joy. It was like, great, I can watch the guy.
It turns on, there's sound.
Yeah. But I got 2 goals down where you guys scored like 2 within the first 20 minutes or something before I then went out of range and then had to just go back to listening to music for the rest of the trip. When I heard we'd come back to a draw, it was at least some consolation, but shocker for us there.
Well, Fulham took 6 points off Southampton last season, not rubbing it in. The game at the Cottage, I think it's New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, that was quite close. I was at that game.
Yeah.
We were 1-up. Ward-Prowse scored an amazing free kick, 1-1. I think Paolini got a header towards the end of the game to nick it. You looked all right then. You looked okay. I mean, we won 2-1 at home. It wasn't whatever. When we played you at St Mary's towards the end of it was a Mitro homecoming. You know what I mean? Like the Fulham fans, whoa, Mitro, come back on a bit. I didn't go, but my son, my eldest son Harry, was texting me going like, they are so bad. They're like when we got relegated under Felix Magath. I'm like, what, that bad? He went, yeah, that bad. Like Magath took us down when we should have stayed up, and then he lost 11 games in the bounce on the championship as well. So that was one of those signings that, Hangeland's injured, he's putting cheese on his leg, and he's dropping, it was that, this is so it was just it took us so long to recover. We'd had 13 years in the Premier League until that fella took over, and it all come from Martin Jol falling out with the chairman, and Berbatov left, Martin Jol left. We went down. We were comfortable mid-table, and but it could be that. It can do it. So you've got to rebuild. So do you think you're going to have a Ward-Prowse in the starting team for the beginning of the season, or will he be West Ham?
Wow, yeah, I'd like to say he will, but I think he'll move, and I think he deserves to play in the top tier. I think he's a real talent. I think. Just his free kicks alone is going to give someone 10 goals.
Well, I said to you, if we had him at Fulham, we wouldn't have missed 5 penalties like Micho did.
So I think it'll be an interesting start. I think we haven't seen as many depart. I think the transfer season, because of Saudi Arabia, has been a bit of a strange one so far. I think there's going to be a lot of movement in this next month. And I think we'll certainly lose 3 or 4 of our top players. And that's right, they should be playing where they deserve to play in, their art form. So, but equally, it gives the young players a chance to come through. We've got some great new signings coming.
We've got Harrison Reed. He came through Saints Academy. He's a mainstay player for us. 8 out of 10 every week, 7, 8 out of 10 every week. Puts the shift in. He's been getting the armband lately as well. Yes. So where Ream's, we had that game against Man City where Pereira broke his leg and Reed broke his shoulder. He broke his arm in the same game. Kearney stepped in, but Kearney went off injured, so Reed's getting the armband, Harrison, and he's a real fan's favourite. Do you know what I mean? People often say if he had spiky hair, tattoos, he'd probably be in the England team.
Yes,
but because he's like a strawberry blonde stroke ginger lad, and he's 5'1", he kind of his work goes unannounced, but he got amongst the goals last season, and I think. That's what Southampton breed, and you look at that conveyor belt of players, and I'm going back to the Theos, the Oxlades, the Lallanas, and all of them. They've gone on to great things, haven't they? And there's something good about the Southampton Academy.
Yes.
There's something very good about that. So the Championship. Now I'm speaking from experience. It hurts you a bit when you go down there and you see the fixtures and you think, well, that's a lot of games. And then you're going, I've got to go to Huddersfield on a Tuesday, or whatever. But Charlie's a Huddersfield lover. That's why I said it. But what I would say, there's nothing better than winning a league and getting promoted, or there's nothing better than winning the playoff final. So, and with the playoffs, you know this. It's you've still got a chance.
Yes.
You can still chase that 6th spot or 5th spot or 4th spot or get in the top 2. So I think with the fan base Southampton have got, there's a couple of big teams down there, Leeds, Leicester. Wouldn't surprise me if all 3 of them were in the mix to come back up, to be fair. So wish you all the best for the new season.
Thank you.
Charlie, good luck with the Arsenal, mate. Good luck with the Arsenal. I don't know what to say about Fulham. I don't know whether Alexander Mitrovic is coming or going. I thought he was going. He hasn't gone yet, but I think he'll go, to be honest. But like anything with my team, Fulham, I don't get that excited when we win because I don't get too upset when we lose. If we were in the 4th division of English football, I'd support us. If we're in the Premier League at the top table, of course I support us. And you don't change your football team. So I wish you all the best with Southampton and your Sunday football career, mate.
Yes, exactly.
If you need a pacey box-to-box midfielder, Hula's your man. But if you need someone to play like the quarterback role, I am available.
Okay.
I am available. I can make my presence felt everywhere. But I do. But if you're one of them in my hero, Ian, I don't know. If you're one of them centre halves, if he's going to get stuck in too much, I'm not sure if you're for me. So, moving from football, let's talk about Dementia UK, the running you've been doing, the fundraising, fitness. That's something very close to your heart, Ian, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, indeed, yeah. So, we actually asked our teams to nominate a charity for us to go behind, and we know certainly charities have really found it hard through COVID and post-COVID, and certainly with the economic cycle we're seeing now. It's very easy for people not to give money, and you feel bad sometimes when you post it on social media and asking for people to sponsor, but actually these people depend on it. And certainly with the population we've got, the ageing population, the amount of people now impacted, I was quite frightened when I started to research into it. And the amount of people that have been impacted, it's a heartbreaking, illness, dementia, and it's something that, it steals people from their loved ones, right? And I'm very, very passionate about it. I think I told you I did the Compton local run. turned up there.
Competitively, Charlie, obviously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sponsorship.
Imagine if it's school sports day when it's a parents' race. Do you know what I mean? He'll be the one in spikes stretching. He'll be getting ready. You know.
But I didn't do my kids' sports day. They asked me to do the parents' race.
You're probably
no,
banned.
no. I can't. But
there's been an incident in the car park. Like, you know what I mean? the young dad's he's been injured.
So it's just a very, very important charity to me. We've also we're challenging ourselves again now. We're going to do a walkover in Wales, so
well done, mate. I mean, Dementia UK is a charity which should hit home and resonate with everyone. You know, and there's a drive towards everyone with CSR and corporate social responsibility. But actually, when you look deep into what charities do and what Dementia UK does, fair play to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fair play to you. So you're walking the mountains in Wales?
Yes, we are indeed. That's our next one. I'm just trying to get the rest of the board on board, so to speak. So a few of us are well up for it, a few are less keen. But we're going to get everyone over there, and I think it's about the commitment that the team has shown. It's not always about it's got to be the fastest, the hardest. It's about taking the time and really putting in the effort and drumming up the sponsorship and just gaining support and awareness really as well. I think that's the other thing. It's just making sure people are talking about it and talking about these really incredible charities we've got in this country that do raise and raise a lot of money and give a lot of support to those in need and that are unseen. So yeah, it's as I said, we're sort of 7 months in. We're not stopping. We've got a raffle next week in the business.
I've donated the prize.
Yes, I know you have. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Sarah just told me I had to give a prize, so I just gave a prize.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, she didn't actually. She asked really politely, and we were more than happy to put something over. So
thank you very much for that.
And a shout out to Daniel Humphrey who made that prize happen as well. So there you go. But it's important, and I think anything that you do that can make a difference and you can involve your business and your team and people in it. We've done enough fundraising from the campaign against living miserably, Balls for Brains. There's all different. There's so many different pathways you follow, but whatever one you follow, it's a commit to it. And you are right, Ian. Something you said. It's not just about pounds, shillings, and pence in the bank. It's actually creating a conversation, making people aware, spreading awareness, because actually everything can help.
Yes,
everything can help. So fair play to you and the Merry team for Worktop Express on those adventures. Charlie's thinking about a marathon, Ian. So from your advice on running and your advice on fitness, what advice would you give Charlie with his training?
Well, I think Charlie's about half my age for a start, so that's always going to be in his favour. But yeah, no, I think do the prep is my advice. So I think we've talked about it before. There's no substitute for doing your preparation. Make sure you're eating well, you're sleeping well. And my advice, whether I always follow it, is probably don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, you ignore that completely. And we're going to come on to your advice shortly, Ian, because I've got a book here. But I'm just going to, before we talk about Ian's book, which I can't wait to share, Charlie, my advice is this. Well, you said you did a half?
Yeah.
So you've done 13 miles.
Yeah.
You can run 14.
Yeah.
And if you run 14, you can run 15. And if you run 15, you get to 17. And when you get to 18, 19, you're there anyway because the crowd carries you home. And it's those moments really, and I haven't done a full marathon for a while, but I remember when I was, and like you, Ian, I was very intensely focused, probably, and being my height and my build, it wasn't the best look for me when I was really going at the marathon training. It eats away at you, it eats away at your muscle. But it is very addictive as well, so you need to just make sure you're pacing yourself when you're doing it. But if you're doing a half and someone said to you, right, 3 weeks time you're going to go and do 15, 16 miles, you'll do it because you've got 3 or 4 more miles in your locker, and you just carry on that way and you get it done. But Ian's right, diet, discipline, being bothered, and you get into the habit of it, and away you go, Charlie. So no pressure, mate. We want a 3:04. Yeah, we want a 3:04. So, Mr. Penney, you brought something in as a visual aid, and it's fascinated me. It's called The Business Philosophy of Ian Penny. And tell us what this book is, Ian.
Well, yeah, as I said, I left, so I enjoyed home-based Barstool for 3 years. I had a fantastic team there. And I had absolutely no ambition to move. We were just reopening the showroom business. And then obviously the conversation with direct online services came. So, and it was really close to my values. So I did decide to leave. And I left a really amazing team, to be honest with you. And you know, one of the things that I built into the team is, you know, when people leave...
I'm not going to share that one.
When people leave, you know, it's... when people leave, it's just as important. Yeah, it's more important than when they join a business, because actually that shows about credibility. So, and look, these guys put it together. It's just a collection of quotes that I didn't realise I'd used, that they all used to mock me behind my back, and they've even given when to use them. So
I mean, I actually think this is brilliant.
What's your best one?
There's so many. I like this. I mean, this one I love. Let one rat through, and you've got an infestation. Always protect your team from the idleness of others. When another department tries to push their work onto you, shut it down fast. This is brilliant. This is that one. If it takes more than 20 minutes, you've gone drastically wrong. Best used when asking your team to pull together many hours worth of work in a ridiculously short time frame, usually when you've sat on it for over a week. What gets measured gets managed. I mean, this is a repertoire, Mr. Penney, isn't it? It's within our gift. Give your team a lesson in self-reliance and independence. You can't do it all for them after all. Remind them they have the answers and the power to change the status quo. There's some good stuff in here. You know, they've mixed this up. Never fail to be fabulous. There you go. You're encouraging people, you're having fun. And the fact that on the back of here you've got so many warm messages. Ian, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I really, really share. That's his dominant fault. It's available from a local bookshop.
You got the beginnings of a great business book.
Yeah. So, picking up from your memoirs, you know, from your memoirs or your biography memoirs. Let's talk about the next generation, because I want to wrap up season 20 as we're getting to the end of the show, we're getting to the end of the podcast. Let's talk about what advice you would give to those starting out in the industry or transferring into the industry, because I think it's often misinterpreted when people talk about the stars of the future. It's someone beginning their work career. It actually doesn't have to be that. It could be someone coming into the sector from a different industry, a different market, a different part of the world. So let's talk about the next generation and what advice you would be giving to them, Ian.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And I think, I mean, that's what this industry relies on, right? Is attracting talent. It's one of those industries which I think was slow to kind of adapt and innovate. And I think one of the things we've seen in the last 5-10 years is really exciting developments coming in. We've really embraced technology at last. But yeah, and just the myriad of different people. Most of us are here for two reasons, really. One is because we love looking after people, we care about people, and it is a service industry. You know, KBB industry is all about looking after customers and making sure you're delivering their dreams. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that people love the variety it brings. There's just so many different paths you can go off in the KBB industry, and that's why we love it. So one of the things I say to all my team is hire on attitude. So I don't look for university degrees. Doesn't necessarily need to be loads of experience in this sector. If you speak to someone, they've got an amazing attitude, you can teach them everything else. You know, and that's one of the things I'd say. And one of the things I tried to embrace with the team as well is just, you know, if you look at Steve Jobs' quote, I think it was stay hungry, stay curious, right? And that's something that, you know, I really think people should do. So always just keep asking questions, looking at different areas, but don't ever look, because, you know, I'll tell you this now, you know, I don't take it lightly that I'm lucky enough to be the CEO of an SME in the UK. I feel very passionate. I never thought I'd be here. You know, and what I'd definitely say is that means that anyone can do it, because if this guy can do it, then it's got to give everybody that drive. And I'd say don't let anyone get in your way. Just be passionate about what you do, passionate about what you love. This industry is phenomenal, and it's never going away. AI can't take this away, because it can't take away that personal connection and that ability to really listen to and understand what your customer wants. So it's an amazing industry. I think most people know that I'm really passionate about it. I'm very fortunate to have fell into it in my B&Q days, and anyone that's in it loves it.
Ian, that's just an emotional, powerful, beautiful way to bring this episode nearer its conclusion. I love what you said about higher on attitude. I love what you said about actually you're making people's dreams come true, because it is truly life changing. You know, you want a new bedroom, you want a new bathroom, you want a new kitchen. That's something so important to you. You know, and that moves out into the garden now, into the home office, into everything we learnt in COVID. That personal space means everything now. You've been an absolute brilliant guest. I've loved the Southampton I've loved the Southampton banter. As Chewbacca would say, you know. How good was that? It wasn't too good, but we brought Chewy into the podcast for the final episode. We've spoken about James Ward-Prowse and the Southampton Championship season. We spoke about the brilliant work Dementia UK are doing, and we spoke about yourself as a CEO. You shouldn't have imposter syndrome, Ian. You're absolutely smashing it in what you're doing. Thank you for the support to me personally. Thank you to the support you've shown Foyne Jones, and thank you for everything you've done for the industry, mate, because actually you've got a real story to tell. It comes from the heart, and you've just been a pleasure having the studio, hasn't it, Charlie? Great way to end the season. So we are wrapping the show up. So Marcel, thank you for being our season sponsor. Should we say hello to the Worktop Express team? Sarah, the gang, everyone. Yeah. You have been absolutely brilliant. That, ladies and gentlemen, is sadly the last episode of season 6 of the Foyne Jones Show. On every one of our 20 episodes, we've been giving advice, we've been sharing stories, and we are working in industries we love. Have fun, stay safe, be positive, and we will see you in the studio again towards the end of the year. Thank you, Charlie, you've been amazing, and Ian, thanks for being part of the show. Take care. Thanks for listening. Sadly, that is the end of season 6. Across all 20 episodes, we've had show-stopping guests, and we have been inspiring our industry stars of the future. Thank you to Marcel and MHK Holding UK for being our sponsor, and a big shout out to Charlie Hooler for being the producer of this podcast. Together, I want to say thank you, because without everyone listening, without our sponsor, without our producer, we don't have a podcast. But don't worry, we'll see you next season for something even more exciting. We're Foyne Jones. This is what we do.